Yeah, I'm going to rant a little bit about the game industry and how it overworks developers and layoff culture and all this other shit real quick, alright? So the Quartering made a pretty damn good point in one of his recent videos. Actually, I think when he was talking about this, when he's pointing out all these developers that turn on their fans and then they get layoffs and then they're trying to play the sympathy card. Like, oh, the game industry is so bad, it's so toxic, they make us work 80-hour weeks and then they just discard us and then they shut down the studio after we release the game and woe is me, feel sorry for us. The more we see them turning on the audience, the less sympathy we have, for one. And second off, as he said, at this point, if you want to be a game developer and you don't want to make your own game, you want to work for some AAA, you know what you're getting into. You know what to expect. So the level of sympathy is declining with each case, especially as we see shit like this. So like I pointed out in my tweet about NetherRealm Studios. Right now, they're in our faces saying, oh, if you don't like Jax's ending, you're racist, you're not a real fan. Oh, I don't care if you don't like the art direction. They're saying shit like that to the actual fans. And then in the future, when they're being laid off and they're crying, like, wow, we're being laid off, game development is toxic, feel sorry for us. We're not going to have any sympathy. You earned your way there. And this actually goes into what I really wanted to rant about, and that is I watched a video recently by Heel vs. Babyface, and like I mentioned before, I generally agree with him on his rants, but this time, strong deviation. I'm not even entirely sure he believed it, but he wanted to... he wanted to virtue signal with this video. But he was ripping on Blizzard because they, in case you didn't know, Activision Blizzard recently laid off like 800 people, and this was right after they posted a record year. So, okay, I could see being bitter about that. Make record profits, lay off 800 people. Yeah, I can see why there may be a bit of an annoyance. But then apparently they now are posting job openings for a lot of those laid off positions. And what got him incensed was that they weren't contacting any of the laid off people to see if they wanted to reapply for the job they got laid off from. And he was pretty incensed about that and trying to virtue signal about how horrible Blizzard is for doing that. I just wanted to give my take there, where if this was their plan from the start, then they did this intentionally. They wanted to get rid of those specific people, and the easiest way to do that is with a mass layoff, because mass layoffs result in the least amount of legal challenges and issues and lawsuits or any of that other shit, right? If you have to fire somebody, you may have legal issues. If it's a reduction in force, if it's a layoff due to a merger, though. And yeah, I've worked for a company that has done this, which is why I know about this. So, personal experience here. They don't want to fire you, not just because of the legal reasons, but because they don't want to pay you unemployment. Or rather, technically, your company pays into unemployment insurance, but every time someone who used to work at that company collects unemployment insurance, there's a chance that their unemployment insurance is going to go up, right? So the company is paying for unemployment insurance, and the more their employees or ex-employees use it, the more they have to pay, or the more they risk having to pay more. So the first thing they try to do is, if they can't find a reason to fire you and make it all your fault so you can't collect unemployment anyway. So if you don't give them a good reason to just fire you on the spot, the first thing they try to do is to stress you out to the point where you quit. Again, I've been through this. I've seen other people go through. I've seen this be successful on other people before. I worked on one of my coworkers. So how they did it when I worked for a giant defense contractor is this company's work was on a quarterly schedule. So like every 3 months we had new work to do. And the way they tried to get us to quit is they would alternate. They wouldn't give us anything to do for like 2 months. And that actually got some people to quit because they got bored and they quit. Me, I was like, fuck, you want to pay me to sit on my ass and do nothing? Fuck yeah! Yeah, fuck yeah, this is what I want, man! But you guys see where this is going, right? So for the people they were targeting for layoffs, or that they wanted to get rid of specifically, before resorting to layoffs, they pulled this political shit. They withheld work from us for 2 months, but then in the 3rd month, they gave it to us and said, oh, this is due by the end of the month, by the way. Have fun doing 3 months worth of work. And I finished that with no problem early. And I just turned, they went through like 3 cycles with this shit with me, trying to get me to quit. And I knew what they were doing. And that's the thing. Once you know what they're doing, once you're onto them, once you can tell they want you to quit, that's when you just dig your heels in and you're like, nope, I'm going to collect unemployment from you. You're going to fire my ass. That's what most of us did. We knew what they were trying to do, right? And then, so after 3 failed cycles, like all 3 times, I just coasted through the quote unquote boredom by playing games on my phone. And then during the crunch time that they artificially created, I got it done early anyway, because that was estimated by incompetent people, and I'm not incompetent. So I got what other people estimated at 3 months. I finished in 2 weeks, no problem. It's no big issue for me. And then eventually they laid off like 20 of us at once. Right before Christmas, because again, that was their way of giving a final fuck you to us. Fuck you for not just quitting and making us do this. They all laid us off like right before Christmas. But the point is, they didn't want to do that. And another point is, they didn't have to do layoffs either. They could have quote unquote fired us. But even though at the time I was in an at-will employment state or right to work state, they literally could have gotten rid of us for any reason and not faced legal consequences. But then on the other hand, we still could have sued, right? But if it's a layoff, yeah, it's a lot harder to sue for a layoff, So I know for a fact companies do this. If they already want to get rid of you, they will use layoffs as an excuse to get rid of you. So that, to me, looks like what Blizzard and Activision did here. Those 800 people they got rid of, most, if not all of them, were probably already being eyed for termination for a slew of other reasons. It could be anything. Underperformance, they don't like you personally. It could be fucking anything, right? But the point is, I'd be willing to bet money that, with the exception of entire offices being shut down, the individual people they selected you're going to be in this layoff, those were all people that they were already looking to get rid of for any number of other reasons, and they just finally used a mass layoff as an excuse to do it all at once. That's why, right after the layoffs, they suddenly had all these job openings for the same positions they just laid off, and why they weren't contacting those same people again. Now, is this a shady practice? Maybe, but I'm just saying, you gotta know this shit. The company already wanted to get rid of those people, and they did. They just found the way with the least amount of legal consequences or potential legal issues to do it. So it basically was just a mass firing as far as I see it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Activision is really being quote-unquote dirty in not reaching out to those people they fired to see if they want their jobs back. Because to me, it seems like they wanted them gone in the first place. So I just wanted to clear that up, just give you guys a different opinion there, because I've seen this happen myself. I've been through it myself. So I believe that's what happened with Activision Blizzard. I can't be 100% sure because I'm not the manager that made that decision, but to me, this bears all the signs. Those specific people they already wanted gone, and this is just how they chose to do it. That's all I gotta say about that.